never back it down. Maybe I'm a soldier, standing my ground. So if you're gonna find me for my heart, all you gonna get is battle scars. Maybe I'm a tiger, 27-8. Maybe I'm a rifle, one bite you're dead. So if you're gonna find me for my heart, all you gonna get is battle scars.
What can I say? I need more than desire, more than just a pretty face. So girl, you better walk away. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Only one love at the side of the fire. Someone who can handle me. Someone cut your heart too deep. Oh yeah, oh yeah. If you try to come closer, I'ma give you some closure. Before you know it, it's over. So run away, run away. I'm not trying to hurt you, but I will if I have to. I'ma tell you what
MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Well, I guess that is so true. It does not matter who the host is on a Freeform Friday. That is for sure. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida. In case you did not know, today is Friday, March the 4th of 2022, day 63 of the year, and only 302 days remaining. Now, it's kind of interesting that already as early as next week, we'll be in the twos. We'll be in the 200s. Already talking about that, so it'll be interesting to see as those things move and groove as we are talking and going through everything, because that's just kind of the way that it goes around here. Anyways, as I already said, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios, and of course, we are also hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we get to do things at.
Radio.
So there you go, hanging out and doing our thing at RadioBig.fm. So how was your overnight? Did you do anything exciting? Of course, we're going to talk about it because a lot of people were going out yesterday enjoying the new DC comic movie. So, of course, I have to mention that from time to time. So there you go. Let's start talking right away about what is going on inside of the world of the trends, because I think that's part of the reason that you're here before we start getting into all the other great things that we have going on. Trending yesterday was Pete Davidson was trending on Thursday as social media reacted to Kanye West's latest music video. In the video, Ye is burying Davidson's head. Twitter users continue to show their support for Ukrainians with hashtag stand with Ukraine. Hashtag World Life Day landed in Twitter's top 10 trends Thursday as tweets were a mix of information about global warming and photos of wild animals. In honor of World Book Day, Twitter users shared their favorite book series and genres, which I think we discussed that as well yesterday. So there you go. So you know how this is, and we talk about this normally on Fridays. So it is Friday. It is Freeform Friday, as I want to make sure that we're clear. So if you want to jump in and get onto the call-in side, the messaging side, the chat box side, you can do that all by going to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. That'll get you into the boxy, and we'll get you moving from that particular portion on. So anyways, as you might be aware, it is Friday. So with that being said, there is normally an onslaught of movies that get released today. on the streaming services. So let's talk about them. New to Amazon Prime will be Lucy and Desi, which was readily available. New to HBO Max will be F9, The Fast Saga. New to Hulu will be Vendetta, Fresh, Lantern's Lane, Strong, Mark, Mary, and some other people. And then new to Netflix will be The Invisible Thread and Mesquina. So there you go. It'll be interesting to see as those things are going around and if you take a gander at them. So, as you know, we will not have any main story because this is normally how it goes on the day of today. But we will be talking about all kinds of other stuff and then try to play catch up with anything that we did not have going on. So, or hold on. Catch up on things that we did have going on that we never got to go to. Maybe that's more along the lines of actually talking about it. I guess I'm going to have some weird questions today as we're going through this and really have no rhyme or reason in formatting and how we do things. So I think instead of just kind of jumping into what we would normally jump into, why don't we just bring Johnny Smalls in right away and talk about the Market Beat Minute? So let's do that right now.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Friday, May 4th, 2022. Equity markets wavered Thursday following several days of upward action. The S&P 500, however, remains below its 30-day EMA and in a downward trend driven by an increasingly cloudy near-term outlook for earnings growth. While there is an increasing chatter about improvements in the economy in the back half of the year, there is an equal amount of cautioning that the current quarter and the second quarter of 2022 could be disappointing. Not only are inflationary pressures cutting into earnings, but supply chain headwinds persist and are impeding top-line growth as well. Also on tap is the February non-farm payroll report. The report is expected to show upward of 400,000 new jobs added and could easily top that number with revisions. The biggest risk for the market, however, is in the wage data. Wage growth is expected to accelerate to 6% or higher and points to rising costs for business. You can get the inside track in your inbox at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one. So as you did hear, and we will take a little bit deeper dive, stocks did finish relatively flat on Thursday with the Dow Jones just 100 points, or down by 100 points, better saying. And then the S&P finished down about 23 points. So there you go. And there's that information going on. So I think it's important that we talk about that just where you know what exactly is going on inside of the world of the market. So there you go. We'll talk about that. Also, on the other side, I have some bad news to share with you right away. Gas prices exploded to $3.87 a gallon, up by 11 cents overnight. Michael Kastner has more information.
AAA finds the national average price for regular at $3.87 a gallon, up 11 cents overnight. Prices are now more than 40 cents higher than a month ago. Increasing demand, falling domestic gasoline stocks, and skyrocketing crude oil prices are driving the runaway prices. U.S. crude oil is selling for more than $110 a barrel. I'm Michael Kastner.
So there you go. Thanks, Michael Kastner, for that one. Let's talk a little bit more. White House lukewarm on banning Russian oil imports. The White House is lukewarm to the suggestion to ban Russian oil imports. Trey Thomas has some more information.
Press Secretary Jen Psaki told reporters that making such a move would impact everyone.
That would raise prices at the gas pump for the American people around the world because it would reduce the supply.
Psaki said global sanctions against Russia are aimed at maximizing impacts on the Kremlin while minimizing impacts on the U.S. and its allies. But House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is in favor of a Russian oil ban. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, thank you, Trey, for that one, as that is coming in hot. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and bring in some of our full news stories, and we'll do that right now if you hang out with me for just one hot minute, because, you know, that's how it goes around here. It has to be a hot minute, because if it was a cold minute, then the minute would be kind of weird. Instead of hot, it would be cold, and who wants to do that, right? I mean, I don't know. Doesn't that sound right? It sounds wrong. Maybe it sounds right, or wrong and right.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. Russian forces are reportedly in control of Europe's largest nuclear power plant. Fire broke out at the plant in Ukraine amid the Russian invasion, prompting fears of a nuclear disaster. The latest this morning from NBC's Molly Hunter in Lviv, Ukraine.
The fire is out, but the plant is completely occupied by Russian forces. The units remain intact. Apparently, there is some damage to Unit 1, but according to the regulation of Ukraine, it does not affect the safety of the whole plant. And importantly, no changes to radiation status. Now, overnight, local time, the U.S. Energy Secretary tweeting out, she called the Russian military actions near that plant reckless and must cease.
CNN is reporting this morning that workers have been admitted to the plant for their shifts, but they're working at Russian gunpoint. NATO Secretary Jens Stoltenberg.
We condemn the attacks on civilians, and over the night we have also seen reports about the attack against the nuclear power plant. This just demonstrates the recklessness of this war and the importance of ending it.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Europe to consult with NATO on the ongoing invasion.
We seek no conflict, but if conflict comes to us, we're ready for it. And we will defend every inch of NATO territory.
The invasion is now in its 9th day. The House Speaker says negotiations over a $6 billion aid package for Ukraine are ongoing. Mark Mayfield fills us in.
Nancy Pelosi called it an emergency package during her weekly news briefing. The California Democrat said it will cover humanitarian, security, and economic assistance as Ukraine struggles against the Russian invasion. Pelosi also called Russian President Vladimir Putin diabolical. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Gas prices are exploding. AAA finds the national average price for a regular at $3.87 a gallon. It's up 11 cents overnight. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Ukrainian authorities say the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant has now been seized by Russian forces. A fire at the plant was extinguished earlier after Russian shelling. Radiation levels at the site appear to remain within normal levels. Moscow correspondent Julia Chapman says it's no surprise to see locations like this targeted.
The theory is, by many analysts, speculating that they could have been trying to take out some of the power to Ukraine. This power plant supplies a huge amount of energy to the country. We know that Russian forces have been targeting some critical infrastructure like radio towers. They've been trying to cut off water and other supplies.
Russia remains in control of the city of Kherson and has continued shelling Mariupol. Ukraine's military claims Russia's exhausted most of its operational reserves in attempts to close in on the capital, Kiev. India is stepping up efforts to rescue students still stuck in Ukraine. Nearly 1,700 are feared trapped in the eastern parts of the country. Ishan Gerg reports from New Delhi.
4 federal ministers are in Ukraine's bordering countries to aid rescue operations. Hundreds of Indian students are believed to be hiding in bunkers, with many of them running out of food and water now. Officials have found it nearly impossible to rescue them from conflict areas so far. They've had to travel on their own to Poland, Romania and the Slovak Republic, where Indian flights are waiting for them. With Russia and Ukraine now promising to set up a humanitarian corridor, hopes are that more people will be evacuated soon. Indian officials say they will stay put in Ukraine until every Indian citizen is lifted out of the country. Ishan Garg, New Delhi.
The Japanese government says it will release 7.5 million barrels of oil from national reserves in a bid to calm the market amid soaring prices. It's part of coordinated efforts by the International Energy Agency as the Russian invasion of Ukraine fuels concerns over supply disruptions. Phoebe Amoroso reports from Tokyo.
Japan has agreed, along with IEA member countries, to take part in a coordinated release of 60 million barrels of oil, half of which is expected to come from the US. So far, the announcement has failed to ease concerns, with oil prices soaring to multi-year highs. These rising costs are putting pressure on Japan as it's heavily dependent on energy imports. The Japanese government announced Friday that it would quadruple a subsidy for oil wholesalers to 25 yen per litre in a bid to ease petrol prices. And it said it would provide $3.1 billion in relief funds to help struggling households and businesses.
Diplomatic efforts over Ukraine continue at pace. G7 foreign ministers will hold talks later. NATO foreign ministers will as well. And the European Union's holding a meeting of foreign ministers to which it's invited the UK, US and Ukraine. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
A controversial abortion bill in Florida is a step closer to becoming law. The state Senate passed House Bill 5 yesterday. It bans abortions in most cases after 15 weeks of pregnancy. It now goes to the governor, who's expected to sign it into law, and it could take effect July 1st. The current law allows abortions up to 24 weeks. A new report says almost 3 in 4 Asian American and Pacific Islander women experienced racism in the past year. Brian Shook with more.
Research done by the National Asian Pacific American Women's Forum shows 74% reported personally experiencing racism or discrimination in the last 12 months. Almost 40% of those surveyed also said they experienced sexual harassment. Over 2,400 Asian American and Pacific Islander women participated in the survey, done both online and over the phone.
New York's Attorney General is agreeing to speed up the schedule on appeals for the Trump family depositions. The depositions are in regards to a civil investigation into the Trump Organization. Attorneys for the former president and his children filed an appeal Monday of a judge's order that they sit for a deposition. An out-of-control rocket is about to crash into the moon. Trey Thomas with the latest.
It was first thought to belong to SpaceX, but NASA now believes it's from a Chinese test mission launched in 2014. That means it's been floating in orbit for almost 8 years, even though China claims it already burned up. Either way, the moon will take a direct hit sometime today, but scientists say the impact will be minor.
The wait for new Justin Bieber music is over. Natalie Migliori reports.
A new song from Justin Bieber is here. He teamed up with Omale to release Attention. The pair already dropped a video that already has tens of thousands of views. And Justin Bieber commented, "Show me a little attention."
Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable, but how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
It's a new year, but it's feeling harder than ever to find and hire qualified people you need, especially for small businesses. That's where LinkedIn Job comes in. They make it easier to find people you want to talk to faster and for free. You can create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience and use screening questions to get your role in front of the most qualified people. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs number one in delivering qualified hires versus leading competitors. I have to tell you that we have used LinkedIn Jobs to even find some of the people that we have here at Safety FM. LinkedIn Jobs can help you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your jobs for free on linkedin.com/safetyfm. That's linkedin.com/safetyfm to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. And don't forget to tell them that you heard it right here on Safety FM.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 21 minutes past the top of the hour, and we are back to the mess of things that we call Freeform Friday. Anyway, so let's get into it. Let's give it to you live and in living color. French President Emmanuel Macron and Russian President Vladimir Putin reportedly talked for about 90 minutes on Thursday. A readout of the call said that Putin has every intention to take all of Ukraine, while Macron continued to decry Putin's bloody ambitions. Here are some of the developments from the day. Lots of rumors that Putin will declare martial law in Russia at any moment. Trains and planes out of the country are sold out. Foreign nationals with vehicles are racing to the border. At least 6-hour drive out of Moscow to the nearest border in Belarus. Moody's has hit Russia's credit to junk rating. So there you go. Return on the red phone. The U.S. and Russia have reportedly opened a hotline to maintain ongoing proactive communication. Ukrainians aren't letting thieves take advantage of the chaos. One new trend includes capturing looters and then duct taping them to light bulbs to get them shamed. Well, at least they're not to get them smashed, but to shame them. So there is one thing. And then people are looking to support everyday Ukrainians that have been booking Airbnb listings with no intention to ever staying there. So there you go. Negotiations between Ukraine and Russia have resulted in an agreement to maintain humanitarian corridors that would allow safe passage of refuge and food supplies. So there you go. And despite the Biden administration refusal to ban oil imports from Russia so far, it appears that refinery companies are doing that entirely on their own. One analyst tells Fox Business Energy that markets are already accounting for the shock in supply and expect a drastically higher price soon. I mean, I guess an 11-cent jump and 40 cents more than what it was a month ago, that would be a shock. The country of Georgia and Moldova have also applied for memberships into the European Union. So it sounds like things are not getting prettier at the moment, and I think you already knew that. So I am just saying something that is totally asinine and has really nothing to do with anything else. It really was what it sounds like. Just saying. So anyways, let's continue down the path and talk about some other things that are going on inside of the world. And I do not know why I just clicked on what I clicked on, because that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. But I did the move, and now I have to pay with it for the groove. That is for sure. So now that has totally disappeared off my screen. Because, I have this problem that if something comes new into my attention, I have to go take a look at it, because that's just what I do. Anyways, let's get into some more news real quick about some other things that are going on inside of here. Just the total one, just in case you want to know this. Daytona Beach is playing host to Daytona's Bike Week starting today. Trey Thomas has more information.
Daytona Bike Week 2021 wasn't quite the spectacle as it was in years past, but officials hope that'll change this year. Hotel rooms are booked at levels last seen before the pandemic. Some are even predicting that this could be one of the top 5 bike weeks ever. I'm Trey Thomas.
So one of the top 5 bike weeks ever, and is that really mostly related to the amount of people that are there? That would probably be one of the things to take a look at, because that's what it's starting to sound like. Anyways, France has announced that it will end its mass mandate and vaccine passport program effective March the 14th. So there you go. And Tesla has cleared a major regulatory hurdle to open its first production facility in Europe. The factory that would be based in Berlin, Germany. Further regulators' review will be conducted before the first car rolls off the assembly line. Meanwhile, Elon Musk is actively inviting a vote of his employees to unionize. On Twitter, Musk says, if we don't treat and compensate our awesome people well, they have many other offers and will just leave. I'd like to hereby invite the United Auto Workers, or UAW, to hold a union vote at their convenience. Tesla will do nothing to stop them. Musk also noted the Tesla factory compensation is the highest in the auto industry. So, what do you think about it? I am just asking. And then, of course, the sarcasm question would be worth asking. Why does Elizabeth Warren so deeply hate a man who is building electric cars while paying his employees the best in the industry? I mean, I'm just asking the question for the sake of asking, because you know it was there. You know it was.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
So, a new research paper that has been released, I'll talk about this real quick, suggests that there were actually 3 species of T-Rex. There has long been a discrepancy in sizes and configuration of the T-Rex fossils, which until now were chalked up to male bones being bigger and females' bones being smaller. But a new study says there's enough consistent difference to identify 2 completely different species. The author proposes calling them T-impersonators. What? How are they impersonators? And T Regina. That's emperor and queen in Latin. I don't think impersonator is right. I think that is a typo for sure. To accompany Rex, which means king. So there you go. What do you think? I mean, is this something that you really take some deep dives into? I don't really think that this is something that's appropriate unless you're just into dinosaurs. Anyway, Spring Break is making a roaring comeback. Home rental app VRBO says that bookings are up 50% compared to last year, but booked flights in the U.S. are still lagging 12% behind of the levels of 2019. International flights are down by 20%. Hey, I'm going to tell you, if I have the opportunity to jump up my ass on a plane and get the hell out of here for a week, I would probably heavily consider doing so. Unfortunately, the place that I'm looking at, it's not the flight there that's a fortune. It's the flight back that costs a fortune because of where I live. Go figure. So that's what's going on there. Anyways, the family behind Purdue Pharma has agreed to a $6 billion cash payout to settle lawsuits brought by the Attorney General for their part of creating and fueling the American opioid epidemic. An earlier settlement amount of $4.3 billion was rejected. The Sackler family, not Slacker, but Sackler family was recently dramatized in the Hulu series Dope Sick. As part of the deal, they'll be protected from civil lawsuits. A judge will review the settlement as soon as March the 9th. So hold on, let's talk about that. So if they are saying we are willing to pay out $6 billion with a B, not with an M, in regards of being involved with the opioid epidemic that did take place, how in the hell are they going to get out of the whole thing of not being sued by, civil lawsuits? You know how this goes. So that's going to be a whole other question. So where's this $6 billion going? Like, who's getting the cut? I mean, we need to understand that. I know it's an interesting question to ask, but I mean, I'm sure that people want to know this. Who gets the cut of the stuff? Because where is the money going? What is it funding? Who is it funding? and where is it going after it gets funded to whoever it's going to. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of stuff to think about and to talk about. That is for sure. Anyways, let's get into some other things that are going on inside of here. At least 19 children and one employee were hurt when an SUV crashed into a daycare on Thursday afternoon in Anderson, California. Got some more information about that one.
14 children were taken to hospitals. At least 2 received intensive care in Sacramento. The SUV crashed into the main area of the preschool where all the children were gathered at the time. The driver was a local woman, and police say she was not under the influence. Anderson is about 150 miles north of Sacramento. Daniel Martindale, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Daniel Martindale, for that one. Take a listen to this. A 39-year-old woman in Northern California is behind bars and suspicions of faking her own kidnapping more than 5 years ago. Take a listen to this one.
Redding resident Sherry Papini was reported missing by her husband in November of 2016. Her disappearance prompted a massive search conducted by the FBI and local law enforcement. Papini was found 22 days later in Woodland in Yolo County, injured with bindings on her body and a brand on her shoulder. She told authorities at the time she was held against her will by 2 women, but investigators now say she was actually staying with an ex-boyfriend several hundred miles south in Costa Mesa. She allegedly hurt herself to make her story more believable to authorities. Papini received $30,000 from the California Victim Compensation Board. Daniel Martindale, NBC News Radio.
So let's talk about that one. So all of a sudden you turn around, you decide to run away, you want to hook up with an ex to do maybe a little hanky-panky type of stuff, and then all of a sudden you say that you got kidnapped and then take a cut of some money. Probably not the wisest decision you've ever made. Just throwing that out there. So then all of a sudden now you're behind bars for allegedly doing some of these things.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about some Russian social media real quick. Russia cuts off access to Russian social media. Russian citizens may not have heard authorities confirming a Ukrainian nuclear power plant that has come under attack. Mike Bowers explains.
I'm extremely concerned. This is something which is very, very fragile, very unstable as a situation.
The Free World Friday morning heard the Secretary General of the International Atomic Energy Agency confirm a Ukrainian nuclear power plant had come under attack. But Russian citizens may know absolutely nothing about the attack, the fire, or the aftermath. Overnight, apparently just as the nuclear plant in Ukraine was to be attacked, Russia cut off access to Russians' Twitter as well as YouTube. And Russia has reportedly blocked access to several big app stores, Western news organizations, and social media sites. I'm Mike Bauer.
So is this the time where we sit back and have a conversation about VPN services? Because I'm almost starting to feel that it might be time to do so. Because as you are aware, a virtual private network can allow you to access things like if you were in another country, even when you're not. So at this particular point, if you do not have one, is it something that you would consider having? Just out of curiosity. Because imagine that. All of a sudden you want to find some things out, you're not allowed to do so because of some blockade. Think about it. It's kind of it's a weird tie-in. Maybe this is the portion where I talk about it. So instead of actually just giving you a list of VPNs to look at, I will probably just recommend to you the one that I think that is the best one that's suited out there. If you want to find out more, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN. That would be the one that I would recommend. It allows you to do a lot more things than other VPN services allow you to do. Seriously. All you have to do is go to safetyfm.com/VPN. You can try it out for 30 days. No problem. And if you sign up, it'll cost you as little as $1.98 a month. And the other great portion about it is that's $1.98 a month. That's less than a cup of coffee at some of the major chains. So something to think about if you're so inclined to do so. So $1.98 VPN service, virtual private network. You can be behind some walls showing that you're at other locations, and it assigns you a totally different IP address. I like the idea. It works out normally pretty well. I have been using VPN services for years, and once I found this one, I was kind of on the hook and said, hey, this is the one that we're going to go with, and it provides some things that other services do not provide. So, like I said, safetyfm.com/VPN. And there you go. You're covered the whole time. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world. What is the latest news? I got some of that for you. Here's from Michael Kastner.
Russian forces are reportedly in control of Europe's largest nuclear power plant. Fire broke out of the plant in Ukraine amid the Russian invasion, prompting fears of a nuclear disaster. The fire is now out and the fighting there has stopped. There were reports this morning that the workers at the plant are operating at Russian gunpoint. The U.S. Embassy in Kyiv tweeted just a short time ago, "It's a war crime to attack a nuclear power plant. Putin's shelling of Europe's largest nuclear plant takes his reign of terror one step further." The White House press secretary Jen Psaki has rejected Ukraine's request to remove Russia from the UN Security Council.
We don't see that happening. That is why it's so particularly disturbing that Russia, given its particular responsibility for upholding the UN Charter, is actively subverting the charter and abusing its position.
Psaki also says there are no plans for a face-to-face summit between Biden and Putin. This has been a special report, the Russian invasion of Ukraine. I'm Michael Kastner.
So there you go. A lot of stuff going on. I am trying to give you these things in as real time as possible as we do see them come through the wire. That is exactly what's going on. So let me give you this one real quick, too. The country's Arctic Council say that they boycott future talks to Russia because of the war in Ukraine. Trey Thomas has some more information.
The council includes the U.S., Canada, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Iceland, and Denmark, and meets on matters affecting residents in the region. The council said Thursday they're suspending their work indefinitely and will skip the upcoming meeting in Russia this May due to Moscow's flagrant violation of Ukraine's sovereignty. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, so there you go. Trey Thomas bringing it to you as it is. It is 36 minutes past the top of the hour. We're going to be back right after this.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. Look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Hamilton the Pug, Instagram star, and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open, don't speak with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table. Share your things, play nice, and generally treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
Baby, I'm a fighter, never backing down. Baby, I'm a soldier, standing my ground. So if you're gonna fight me for my heart, all you gonna get is battle scars. Baby, I'm a tiger, 20 steps ahead. Baby, I'm a viper, one bite to dead. So if you're gonna fight me for my heart, all you gonna get is battle scars. Baby, I'm a fighter.
Okay, there you go. 41 minutes past the top of the hour.
Standing my ground. So if you're gonna fight me for my
So
heart,
this is Battle Scars.
battle scars. Baby, I'm a tiger, 20
This is by Lil Loca and Anthony B. Quinones.
for my heart, all you gonna get
The song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes.
Beyonce, so we make it out alive. I don't wanna
Thank you to Lil Loca and Anthony B. Quinones for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show.
trust me, baby, when I say, girl, you better.
You know, anytime that you can get some Latin beats out there,
If you try to come closer,
you have to take advantage of that.
some closure before you know it, it's over.
Okay, so there you go. Let's get back into this and let's start talking about some other things that are going on inside of this lovely world of ours. So let's go from there. Anyways, taking it from what we always deem as the most important thing that we will ever talk about. And I want to tell you right away about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or you have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people in your local communities whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to afsp.org. That is afsp.org. Or you can actually call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255. Or text the word TALK to 741-741. I'm going to tell you, you never know when this information might be important for you or someone you love or just somebody you know. So I always tell people it's probably much needed info because sometimes we don't know how to handle some of these situations when they do come about. And just having the knowledge base can assist you in the long run. It has real stories on their website. You can learn about some frequent facts of things that you might not know, and you can even help making a difference in your local community. Like I said, all you need to do is go to afsp.org or text the word TALK to 741-741 or call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255. Anyways, let's continue talking some more about some other things that are going on inside of the world, because that's portion of the reason why you're here this morning, to hang out and do the things that you get to do. So let's go from there. So giving it to you from the other side of the equation, let's talk about some of the things that are happening. Just shooting the bull, if you're interested in some of the movies that have been released this week, of course, the Batman, rated PG-13, when the Riddler, a sadistic serial killer, begins murdering key political figures in Gotham, Batman is forced to investigate the city's hidden corruption and question his family's involvement. So there you go. That movie's out today. Really out yesterday. And then A Day to Die, rated R, after killing a drug syndicate member while protecting parolee Connor Conley, has one day to pay $2 million in reparations that he does not have. So there you go. That's out today as well. So if you're out there wanting to watch and take a look at the movies and all that kind of fun stuff, you are more inclined to do so. So let's do this. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about some of the things that are going on out there. So I am starting to see more and more stuff related to people talking about CBD and the workplace, and then of course CBD with THC, which I guess that's just call it what it is. and how it is impacting the workplace and how things will be transitioning over the next few years. Now, here's the problem when it comes to when we start talking about transitioning over the next few years. I do not have a crystal ball, and I have never been able to predict the future. I can tell you about patterns and pattern recognition. That's a different story. But I can't predict the future on what people are going to do or regulations are going to go into place. So I get that conversation a lot because I get to interact with quite a few people in regards of what do I think is going to happen with legalizing of marijuana. Now, listen, there is a close friend of mine that I have asked him at this point what I feel like 100 times to come onto the show and talk about this. And he always tells me yes, but never has. But at some point, I would like to get a subject matter expert in here and talk about what is going on with that and how it would impact the industry. But unfortunately, with it still being a Schedule I drug, it is going to be very difficult to be able to have that conversation on what's going to occur. So as you sit there currently inside of the organization that you work at, how do they look currently at CBD and CBD with THC or THC in general? Because it's going to be one of those things that as we transition forward and the world continues to change, we're going to have these conversations. But until some of the regs catch up with what people are changing inside of the work environment, it's going to be really hard to say that this is what the government's going to do. And I mean, I think, and it's only a guess, because that's the only thing that you could do at best, is that there will be some similarities to what is there with how alcohol is looked at and levels, but that's going to have to change some of the way the testing looks. So I guess that will be a conversation to think about as we are moving forward.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's continue talking. Of course, your beloved pupped ears perk up when he hears you speak, but is it really able to recognize your voice? According to fascinating new research in Hungary. Let's see, the answer is yes. Scientists at Ivotos Lorand University had human owners hide behind two large blocks while a complete stranger hid inside of the other, and the owner spoke the name and the stranger would actually walk out simultaneously, and the dogs were just excited to find out that, hey, that was not the person, and they recognized that it was actually their owner at the last moment and would run to them. So there you go. There's some exciting news, dog news stories. How do we even get into that? How do we even get that information? Can somebody explain that one to me? Anyways, with that being said, let's bring you some other level of motivation by bringing in Johnny Smalls.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote has been submitted by Melissa. Tim Ferriss said, "Conditions are never perfect. Someday is a disease that will take your dreams to the grave with you. If it's important to you and you want to do it eventually, just do it and correct course along the way." I love this so much. I quote this all the time in different variations. But I've met with musicians who are amazing but never release their music because it's never ready. Authors who never finish a book and filmmakers who never finish a film, both for the same reason as well. Hey, perfection is not gonna happen. So like Nike says, just do it. I mean, come on, what do you have to lose? This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlasAmorgan.com. Your liver is intricately involved in metabolism of every single calorie. When we consume unhealthy foods and carbs, the inflammation causes the liver to store fat instead of metabolizing it. This can contribute to something called clogged or fatty liver when it's unable to metabolize additional foods and continues to accumulate fat. One food that can help your liver is garlic. What makes it so unique is the presence of sulfur, which aids in metabolizing some of the components that otherwise have a hard time getting processed. Additionally, it's extremely high in vitamin B6, which reduces the levels of homocysteines and therefore aids inflammation. Garlic is both a good treatment and a great preventative, so add it to your food whenever possible, from sautés to garlic butter to salads and soups. For additional information, check out alessamorgan.com.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 50 minutes past the top of the hour. In 10 minutes or so, I will be jumping over exclusively to radiobig.fm if you want to come in out and hang out with me. Now, keep in mind that that is on our radio station platform, so you're more than welcome on coming over and doing that, and that is radiobig.fm. You can put that right into your browser, and that will take you directly over there. And also, there is an app available via Live 365 if you want to take a listen on there. So all you have to do is download Live 365 and look for Radio Big. Yes, we have a whole plethora of radio stations that are listed on the app itself. So there you go. Get to listen to some different things if you're so inclined to do so. Anyways, let's talk about some things that are going on still inside of this world. A medical student has been caught cheating in a graduation exam with a Bluetooth device embedded in his inner ear to avoid detection. That's right, embedded. So on February the 21st, when 78 medical students took part in the final MBBS, so Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery exam, the Mahatma Gandhi Medical College in India. One of them was more desperate to pass than the rest. The unnamed student was admitted 11 years ago, but had failed the final exam multiple times, and this was the final chance to pass. To increase his chances, the man apparently turned to cheating, having a Bluetooth device surgically implanted into his ear. Maybe he was just listening to music. Who knows? But there you go. That is the worst way to get caught. I mean, number one, you shouldn't do it, but the worst thing to get caught is that you medically got something implanted and you still got caught doing it anyways. A man who made big bucks by being a dead ringer for Vladimir Putin now fears that for his life after Russian president invasion of the Ukraine. The 53-year-old Sławek Sobola of Poland has spent 8 years as a professional impersonator of Putin, has traveled to the U.S., the U.K., and Hong Kong for special gigs. He says that before the war, he wasn't concerned for his safety in the city of Wrocław, but now he is, because there is a lot of people from Ukraine who work and live here, and now he's afraid that the people are angry or aggressive when they see him. So he has vowed to no longer impersonate Putin, saying that now that he does not want profit from the conflict. At least one of them still has an occupation. So there you go. Some things to think about. That's going to catch me. That is.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, so let's talk about some new music coming out today. Let's see. Bob Moses, The Silence Between Us, The Dip, Sticking With It, Diplo, titled Diplo, Dolly Parton, Run, Rose, Run, The Flower King with B. Royal Discret, Leon with Circles, let's see, Matt Anderson, House to House, Nashvillians with Tumbling Down, Peach Pit with From 2 to 3, Scott Hardware with Ballad to Tirade, Shane Parrish with Liverpool. What else do we have? Let's see. Sanders School's Song About Song. So there you go. Some things to talk about and some things to listen to if you're so inclined to taking a listen to what is going on inside of the music scene. So there you go. Anyways, I don't know if you heard about this, but Broadway's Court Theater will be renamed after the legendary actor James Earl Jones. The Showbird organization announced that this week, the celebration of Jones's lifetime contributions to Broadway and the entertainment community, the 110-year-old theater will be named in his honor. The 91-year-old actor, Court Theater's debut back in 1958 and played the Sunrise Combolo. He starred in the total of 21 Broadway shows during his career. So there you go. Congratulations to James Earl Jones on that one. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world here. And as we are talking on this lovely morning, if you're looking at some things that happened back on this date, let's talk about them. Back in let's see, 2005, Martha Stewart leaves the Slammer after serving 5 months. The homemaking maven was convicted of insider trading in 2001. After her 5 months in prison, she was required to serve the remainder of her 10-month sentence under house arrest. Similar convictions could have resulted in a 16-year sentence, but her celebrity status certainly helped. While serving time, her company managed to thrive and stock value quadrupled. So there you go. That happened back in 2005. If you're looking at some birthdays for today, I got some of those for you. Jordan Fuller turns 24, Jenna Boyd 29, Draymond Green 32, Andrea Bowen 32, Chaz Bono 53, Sam Taylor Johnson 55, Dan Pikey 56, Jason Newsted 59, Patricia Heaton turns 64, Catherine O'Hare turned 68, and Rick Perry turned 72 today. So there you go. There's some birthdays. If you're looking for some days of the year to celebrate, I have some of those for you as well. Marching Music Day, National Grammar Day, National Hug a GI Day, National Pound Cake Day, National Suns Day, Tartar Sauce Day, National Day of Unplugging, National Dress in Blue Day, National Speech and Debate Education Day, National Employee Appreciation Day. So there you go. If you're looking for all kinds of days to celebrate, you have the opportunity to do so in more than one way. That is for sure. So let's continue talking. Let's talk about Did You Know? For many, and any movie that lasts longer than 2 hours, it's too long. Those people should definitely not check logistics. Clocking in the total time of 35 days, 17 hours, the 2012 Swedish experimental film is by far the longest movie ever made. It started with the question posed by filmmaker Erika Magusen and Daniel Anderson. Where do all the gadgets come from? They attempted to answer that question by following a cycle pedometer. The story begins at a store in Stockholm where the items are sold. Then it moves forward to chronicle its journey to consumers. Logistics takes the viewers to a truck, freight train, a massive container ship, and finally the factory in China. The trip unfolds in the real time, and yes, it's 857 hours. It is the longest film ever made. It has a solid 6.2 out of 10 rating on IMDb. Now, I have to ask that important question. Do you really think that somebody watched an 857-hour movie? Because that is a lot of time. I can't even envision going through a training session that lasts that long or watching training videos. So there you go. Anyways, if you want some whack facts real quick, I got some of those for you. The longest ever train was 7.35 kilometers or 4.57 miles long. People see better when they're scared. No matter how badly fingerprints are damaged, they will always grow back to the original pattern. Elephants sing to each other, but their songs are infrequently too low for human ear. A dolphin's blowhole has evolved to the nose that has moved upwards to the top of the head. And it takes between 7 to 21 days to make a jelly bean. So there you go. There is some probably useless knowledge that you did not know. If you need a random joke for today, I have one of those for you. Call me old school, but wake up with my eyebrows already on my face. If you need a phone starter for today, here's this. What is the most amazing fact you know? And if you need something for the water cooler, try this one. The top 2 foods that even the pickiest eaters will eat are French fries and mac and cheese. So there you go. There you go. Some things to think about. Anyways, thank you for taking a listen to the Rated R Safety Show. I hope you enjoy your weekend if you are inclined to do so. I will be going over to radiobig.fm like I did state earlier if you want to come out and hang out and do the things that we get to do. Thank you for taking a listen because we couldn't do what we do without you, the most important part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener. That is for sure. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. If the world seems cold to you, kindle fires to warm it. Think about it. Anyways, have a fantastic weekend. I'll see you on the other side. I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.